Hello everybody, thank you for checking out my video. This is my second video, and in today's video I wanted to talk about a couple terms, specifically atheism and agnosticism, as well as new atheism and militant atheism. What is an atheist? What is an agnostic? What's the difference? Why do I sometimes use one term and sometimes use the other? Um, and I think that many agnostics and atheists also, they also struggle with these two terms. So if you find yourself in that camp, you may not like my video because I don't really have a perfect answer for which one to use. I think that neither of these terms, atheist or agnostic, are really very good. So first of all, when it comes to atheism, I find this term to be not very accurate when describing people because it doesn't really tell you much about what a person does believe. It really tells you only what people don't believe in. So we usually don't describe people by things that they're not. So if I were to introduce a friend at a party, I would say, "Hi, everybody. This is my friend Bob. He doesn't play tennis on the weekends, or he doesn't drink coffee, or he doesn't like chocolate." So usually we describe people by things that they are and qualities that they have, and not qualities that they don't have, or qualities or things that they don't do. So usually usually when we're describing somebody who doesn't do something or believe something, that is there's usually no term for the default position to not have belief. If I didn't believe in Santa Claus, you wouldn't have a term for not believing in Santa Claus. If I didn't believe that there was a turtle that flying through outer space around the Earth, you wouldn't have a term for that. If I didn't believe that the moon was made of green cheese, you wouldn't have a term for that. The other thing I think about atheism is I think that it sort of lends to a false equivalence between theism and atheism. So I think that there is this sense that if you use a term that theists and believers on one side have their set of beliefs, and atheists have their own set of beliefs. But really, atheism is a lack of beliefs. It's essentially skepticism or empiricism or naturalism. So these people are willing to revise their beliefs based on evidence, whereas believers in a particular faith or ideology, they often believe in something in spite of the evidence. What about agnosticism? So the problem with agnosticism is it tends to make it sound like I'm more on the fence or more unsure than I really am. So if I said I was agnostic about a turtle flying through space around the Earth, that doesn't mean that I'm unsure of whether there's a turtle flying through outer space. It means that I'm open to the evidence, but it would take a profound amount of evidence to make that case in a compelling way. But essentially, I'm taking a Bayesian stance that there probably isn't a turtle flying through space. So if everything's either probably true or probably not true, and atheists and agnostics are willing to update based on the evidence, that seems to make the case for atheism. But again, atheism is just not a term that I particularly like. So what I'll do to solve this problem is often combine the terms, and I'll call myself an agnostic with a hard atheist lean, or an agnostic atheist or atheist agnostic. So what about new atheism or militant atheism? I think that these two terms, I don't know how they're really different than agnosticism or atheism. I think that they're essentially people who are outspoken about their atheism, or who champion empirical evidence and rational thought. I really don't care for these terms. I don't mind them, but I don't care for them. But if you do come across and see me in the near future, just so you know, I did recently have a birthday. So if you want, I much prefer you call me an old atheist rather than a new atheist.